Veterinarians had given up on these two pups and decided to put them to sleep. However, what these two pups did just before being put to sleep was noticed by the vet, and what she did next was unexpected. Dr. Emily Harding arrived at work at the Hope Animal Shelter on a Monday morning after a long and much-needed weekend. The calmness of the morning did little to lift her spirits as she braced herself for the tasks ahead. That day, she faced the most heartbreaking part of her job. As she walked into her office, she wished fervently that this duty didn't exist in her line of work. Sitting down at her desk, Emily heaved a deep sigh. Her heart was weighed down with sadness at the thought of what she had to do. The shelter's policy was clear. Animals that didn't respond to treatment and were suffering had to be euthanized to prevent further pain and the risk of infecting other healthy animals. It was a necessary measure, but one that tore at her soul every time she had to carry it out. Ever since Emily had worked as a vet at the animal shelter, euthanasia was a rare occurrence. She, alongside other staff, made sure they saw every animal as one deserving to live, no matter the ailment they faced. They did everything they could to not give up on any of the animals, to the point that euthanasia was the only option. But some cases were just too complicated, and despite their best efforts, putting some animals to sleep was the only solution. Now, once again, Emily felt like she'd failed at her job of keeping these adorable animals safe, as she had vowed to do as a vet. She had to put two adorable dogs to sleep as the only solution, since their ailments couldn't be cured and they weren't responding to treatments. Putting them to sleep seemed to be the only way to relieve them of their suffering. But little did Emily know that the dogs scheduled for euthanasia that day would break her heart in an unexpected way, leading to a different outcome entirely. Reaching for the shelf above her desk, Emily pulled out the list of animals scheduled for euthanasia that day. As her eyes scanned the list, her heart sank when she saw the names of the two puppies, Sam and Max. The thought of putting them to sleep filled her with an overwhelming sense of pity and empathy. Reclining back in her seat, she couldn't help but reminisce about the journey of these two pups before they were admitted to the shelter. Sam and Max had a story that touched everyone's heart. They were found wandering the bustling streets of Ho Chi Minh City, two tiny helpless creatures lost in a world far too big and dangerous for them. Since the day they had arrived at the shelter, they'd been inseparable, always snuggling close to each other for comfort and warmth. Their compassionate and emotional connection had inspired all the staff at the shelter. Despite the harsh conditions they faced, Sam and Max found solace in each other's presence. But unfortunately, their health had been deteriorating rapidly despite the immense medical care efforts. Every treatment and intervention had failed to bring about the hoped-for recovery. The shelter's veterinarians, including Emily, had done everything within their power, but the situation seemed hopeless. Looking at the list again, Emily felt a lump form in her throat. She knew there seemed to be no other choice but euthanasia, yet the thought of ending the lives of these two adorable pups was almost too much to bear. The story of Sam and Max began when they were picked up by kind Buddhist nuns near a pagoda. The nuns couldn't bear to see the puppies struggling on the streets, searching for food and coping with harsh weather. The sight of the two pups risking their lives around busy roads while being so sick was too much for them to ignore. Driven by compassion and hope for a miracle, the nuns lured the pups with food and took them to the Hope Animal Shelter. The larger pup, Sam, always held his smaller friend Max in his paw. This touching gesture spoke volumes about the traumas the two malnourished pups had faced together. Despite everything, they stuck together, even now that they were about to be rehabilitated at the animal shelter. Their bond melted everyone's heart, and their story spread throughout the shelter. But little did anyone know, there was more to their connection than met the eye. Whenever the two snuggled together, bracing herself, Emily knew she had to do what was necessary, no matter how much it hurt. With a heavy heart, she entered the kennel where Sam and Max were kept. but nothing could have prepared her for the unexpected discovery that awaited. Arriving at their kennel, she saw them snuggled together. But what shattered her heart to pieces was that Sam and Max had their eyes closed in what seemed like peaceful resignation. Could it be that the pups had sensed their fate and chosen to accept it? Emily wondered, her emotions getting the better of her. With teary eyes, Emily knelt beside them, gently stroking their fur before preparing to lead them to the room where they would be put to rest. But in that moment, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something special about these two pups, something that set them apart from the other animals she had encountered in all her years as a vet. Was it their incredible bond, or was it just her feelings playing tricks on her? Suddenly, as if sensing her presence, Sam lifted his head slowly and looked into Emily's eyes. In that brief moment, she saw a spark, a glimmer of hope and determination that took her by surprise. Max, feeling Sam's movement, also stirred and snuggled even closer to Sam, not wanting to let him go. Emily felt her heart swell with emotion as she watched this tender moment. It was then that a shocking secret came to light in an unexpected way that would change everything. Emily noticed that Max's breathing, which had usually been labored and shallow, a major symptom of his poor health condition, seemed to stabilize now that he was curled up with Sam. This shocking observation left Emily puzzled for a moment. Still curious, she gently separated the puppies to observe their reactions, and that was when the unexpected happened. Moments after she gently separated them, Max started to whimper, and his breathing became troubled, as it usually was. But he had been breathing just fine when he was cuddled up to Sam. Emily thought aloud, struggling to make sense of what was going on. She placed Max back in Sam's embrace, and she couldn't believe her eyes when his breathing calmed once again. Dr. Emily's mind raced. Could it be possible that Sam was somehow helping Max heal? It didn't really add up, and this was unlike anything she'd seen in her profession. She decided to conduct a few tests, hoping to find an explanation. Emily carefully monitored their vitals, observing every detail. She took notes, measured breathing rates, and checked for any signs of distress. Emily's thoughts swirled with possibilities. Could Sam's presence have a calming effect on Max, enough to stabilize his breathing? Or was there a deeper connection between the two that went beyond what they could understand? She knew she had to find out more before making any final decisions about their fate. The shelter's policy was clear, but this unexpected development gave her a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, there was another way. She couldn't let these two pups be put down without exploring every possible option. Their bond was special, and it might hold the key to their survival. Over the next few days, Emily and the staff closely monitored Sam and Max, but they found it hard to believe the results. Sam's presence seemed to have a soothing effect on Max, as if he were providing a form of emotional support beyond mere companionship. The more they observed, the clearer it became that this bond was extraordinary. This inspired Emily to delve further into research. She discovered studies about how emotional bonds could significantly impact physical health in animals, much like in humans. Armed with this newfound knowledge, a realization dawned on her. She recalled how, when the two pups were brought to the shelter looking malnourished and sick, they never wanted to be separated. They were inseparable. However, when the shelter started administering treatments to them, Sam and Max had been kept apart. With this understanding, Emily proposed an unconventional treatment plan, not just for Sam and Max, but also to the shelter's board. The plan involved keeping Sam and Max together and providing them with special medical care that wasn't just limited to physical treatment, but also included emotional and psychological support. Initially, the board members of the shelter were skeptical about this approach. However, after seeing the incredible bond between the two pups, they agreed to give this new method a try. With high hopes, they began the new treatment plan. The weeks passed, and the results were nothing short of a miracle. Max's health began to improve significantly. Everyone was moved to tears when Sam, too, became more energetic and started being playful. The bond between the two puppies seemed to be the key to their recovery. Emily shared their story on her social media pages, posting updates about their journey and their remarkable bond. She was glad that she had given them a second chance. The story of Sam and Max began to spread, attracting attention from dog lovers globally. People were touched by the connection between the two puppies and their incredible resilience. What made it even more heartwarming was when donations started pouring in from true animal lovers who were moved by Max and Sam's story. These contributions ensured that the shelter could continue providing care not only for Sam and Max, but also for other animals in need. Emily's heart swelled with gratitude and pride as she saw the impact of Sam and Max's story. The two pups, once on the brink of being put down, had inspired a wave of kindness and support that would benefit many more animals in the future. However, more surprises were in store for Emily. Now that the pups were fully recovered, it was her deepest wish that they would be adopted into the same home, where they could live the rest of their lives together, just like they deserved after surviving and loving each other through such hardship. Usually, when visitors came looking for a canine companion to adopt, they opted for just one. However, in the case of Sam and Max, separating them was not an option. The duo was inseparable, and separating them might leave them in chronic depression, unable to function and interact as they should. With their growing popularity on social media, Emily hoped someone might be moved enough to adopt them both. Then one day, something shocking happened. One evening, while Emily was leaving the shelter after a full day at work, she received a call from a local news station interested in doing a feature on Sam and Max. Excited about their offer, she agreed, hoping that their story would inspire others to look beyond the surface and see the potential for life and love in every creature. Nothing could have prepared Emily for the outcomes for Sam and Max after the interview aired. To their surprise, many people tuned in to the station, eager to hear more about the two pups. Sam and Max, the stars of the show, snuggled together as always during the interview. The reporter asked Emily what she thought was the main contributing factor that saved the puppies. She smiled and looked at Sam and Max, who were now playfully tugging at a toy. "I think they saved each other," she replied. "Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of love, second chances, and a lot of hope." After the interview aired that night, it was a memorable moment as people from all over tried to connect with Emily and the pups. The unexpected happened when several viewers expressed a desire to adopt Sam and Max. However, those who were interested lived too far away in different parts of the world. Despite this, the interview garnered financial support from the audience, which in turn saw the adoption rates at the shelter double. Many pets found their forever homes thanks to the impact of Sam and Max's incredible bond. But just when it seemed like finding a foster home for Sam and Max might not actually happen, something unexpected occurred. A few weeks later, a family from the countryside came to the shelter. They immediately recognized Emily from her posts and happily approached her, explaining how they had seen the story on the news about Sam and Max and had felt an instant connection to the pups. Emily and the other staff were elated and welcomed the family, taking them straight to the kennel to see the pups. Sam and Max, now healthier, interacted happily with the family, wagging their tails furiously and jumping and barking around. This display of joy won the hearts of the family even more. After a thorough vetting process, the family was approved to adopt them. However, it was a bittersweet moment for Emily and the rest of the staff as they watched the pups leave with their new family, looking happier than ever. She knew she'd miss them deeply, but the fact that they had a new home where they would be together and not separated warmed her heart even more. With the pups already popular on social media platforms, Emily was happy to see that their new owners had even created a personal page for them, which had attracted a lot of engagement online. She scrolled through some of the posts and was delighted as tears streamed down her face, seeing how happy they were together and how joyfully they interacted with their new owners. This made Emily remember how she had once considered administering euthanasia to them. But everything changed when she noticed something special: the deep connection between Sam and Max. Together, they could give each other emotional and psychological support, and they deserved a second chance. Emily was glad to be a part of their journey and thrilled that she had given them that second chance at life. Not only were Sam and Max special, but they had also taught her about the power of compassion and emotions in the overall well-being of a person. What's the most unforgettable experience you've had with your pet that made you believe in second chances? Share your stories in the comments. See you in the next heartwarming video.